If you want to become a UX designer or product designer, you need a good portfolio website. And when I started off my career, I wasted tons of time trying different website builders. And because I wasted so much time on the technical part of things, I didn't focus on the most important side of things, the UI design, the banners that sells my design, and also the stories behind each of the case study. In today's video, I will teach you how to build a UX or product design portfolio through just Figma and Notion. Let's start with the most important page, the website homepage. Please open up a new Figma file and let's build this homepage wireframe together. We're going to use this structure and you're going to choose 3 to 4 projects that you've finished. Usually we use chronological order, but make sure the top left one is the best one, the most recent one, and hopefully it's a real-world project. For these cards, please use a dimension of 1280 times 720. And for each project, put in the project name and use some rectangles to draw out the visualization of the banners. These banners are the banners that will get you a job. For app projects, usually we go with 2 or 3 mobile screens. For responsive website, you can put in both a desktop screen and then a mobile screen like this one. And then if you work for an internship in a well-known company, or if you work for a company that has a good logo, you can also design a little spot that puts in your logo. And feel free to move things around to make sure they look good with each other. Now that you have a wireframe, bring in the high fidelity design into this Figma file and let's see if that still looks good. If you think the projects you did from the past no longer reflect your current UI or UX design skill, which means if you think your past projects are too ugly, you need to update those UI, especially for these banners, so that you form a really good first impression for recruiters and hiring managers.
The next step is to polish up these banners by adding colors and more details. For background colors, I like to start with one of the colors that's already in the design and then work from there. For example, green for this one, and then blue for the final one. You can also add device mockups to these banners. Just go to Figma community page and then look up for the device you want. Then copy one of their screen to your screen, resize the component to fit your banner, and then replace the screen with your design. For this component to work, you might need to detach instances just like this. Using device mockups might work for some projects, but it might not work for the others. For example, if you build a very complex desktop website, it could be better to just use a simple shadow. Here, I'm creating a rectangle beneath this layer that's in the color of a transparent black, and I'm giving it a layer blur effect. This is similar to adding a shadow, but it gives the device more of a floating look, and I will do the same for the other banners. Whenever you feel happy about how these banners turn out, export all of them with high resolution.
Now that we have a design for our homepage, we're going to bring this into an actual website, and we're going to use Notion. I chose Notion because it's a tool that can fulfill every single step of this portfolio building journey. Not just the final web presentation part, but also the entire drafting part. For example, the most recent Notion AI feature, it allows you to turn bullet points into a paragraph, or help you to clean up your grammar, or turn things into a more professional tone. You can also use Notion for free, and for things like, oh, what font am I going to use for my website? What am I going to use for header 1, header 2? Notion already did it for you and you don't need to change anything. So I want to thank Notion for sponsoring today's video, and please get started using Notion by clicking the link in the description. Click the link, it means a lot to me. So now let me show you how to turn this into this.
This is what you will see after you sign up with Notion. Go to the left sidebar and then click Templates. Then search for Design Portfolio, and then click Get Template. To get a unique URL for this page, please go to Settings and Members on the top left. Then go to Settings, and then type down your name in the Domain section. If you want the simplest form of the URL like aliena.notion.site, you will have to click Public Homepage and then upgrade to Plus from here. But for now, it's fine to just click Update and then use the free version. Now go to Share on the top right and then toggle on Share to Web, then copy the URL. If you're using the free version, then this will be the URL for your UX portfolio. And then here, I'm just showing you the example of inserting this URL to your resume as a link. Here we go. If you click on the link, then here we're going to the portfolio. Now let's go back to the Notion edit page and customize our portfolio. Hover over the top banner and then select Change Cover. Here I'm just going to click Remove to remove the banner. Then select the icon on the top and then select Custom. Here I will upload my profile photo here. If you don't have a good profile photo or profile shot, don't upload one. And I'm going to replace the header with Hi, I'm Aliena. Then hit return and type in a paragraph that introduces yourself. It doesn't have to be super creative. Notion will automatically set your paragraph to body font, but you can always select and then click text to change it to other font, like heading 2. Then we can remove the following 2 sections by selecting them and then hit delete. Then is the most important part, these cards. So select the first one and then let's replace the content with the one that we just did. Select everything on this page and then delete because we don't need this as a template. Click the 6 dot to delete the leftover components. Then select the top emoji, either replace with another emoji or just delete the emoji. And then replace the title with your project title. Replace tags with the tags that represent your project. If there's no additional link to the project, feel free to just delete the property link. And then dragging the banner that we just designed from the previous step to here. Now if you click outside this card, you'll see that on the home page, the banner is updated, the title and the tags are all updated. So now let's do the same for the rest of the projects. As a recap, you need to replace the emoji, the project title, the tags, and then put in the banner image for each project. Your homepage should look something like this once it's done. And for the footer, you can either edit everything by hovering these components, or you can just delete everything like what I usually do, and then put in your contact information like your LinkedIn, your Gmail, your phone number. And if there's anything wrapping in a weird way, it means there's an additional empty element on the right side, so please delete that and everything will go back to normal. On the bottom line, you can add in copyright, your name, the year, and then all rights reserved. In order to type in the copyright symbol, please use Option G. That's Option G. And if you want to insert link, just select the element and then click Link. And then we are done with the home page. Now if you go to your URL, you'll see that this page is already updated, and then it will also update based on your device setting. For example, here it's already dark mode, and everything's responsive by design.
Now that we have a working homepage, we also need really good case studies, especially the first one. Because usually in an interview, you're only going to present one project, so it's okay if you only have one great project and the other 3 are just okay. And I'm going to show you how I write case studies for my projects.
Let's go back to Notion. And on this homepage, we need to do one extra setting. You see how each card opens in a small window here? We can adjust that setting by clicking the 3 dots, then go to Layout, and then click Open Pages In, and then change it to Full Page. Now if we click on any of the card, it will open up in a full-sized window. And for each case study, let's drop down 3 points: problem, solution, and process. All the content will belong to any of these 3 points. Let's start with problem and solution. For problem, I suggest you to use a combination of business problem statement and design problem statement. You can refer to the user story you had when you were designing the project. The example here is more toward a business problem statement. And don't worry if you think it's not perfect. Just drop anything down and we can always use Notion AI to help us to make our language more professional. Just click Ask AI and then click Fix Spelling and Grammar. Here we go. For the solution statement, you'll need to include a summary of your product and the summary of your impact. And because you're at such an upper part of this page, I also like to add 3 visuals that just sells your design. So here, I'm adding 3 points to further explain the solution. And these 3 points are simply 3 features that I had in this app. I'm also dropping down an explanation for each of this point. And don't worry if you don't think you can write a great paragraph, you can always ask Notion AI to make it sound more confident. Just select the paragraph, click Ask AI, change tone, and then select Confident. Now that we have the content for these 3 points, let's go to Figma and turn these into visualizations. Please use the same banner size as the thumbnail, which is 1280 x 720. Please also prepare the assets you'll need for the 3 visualizations based on the 3 features or the 3 points you choose. And here I'm just going to move things around and then pasting the text for each point. If you don't know which font size to choose, feel free to just use 60 for the header and then 24 for the body paragraph. Here's the example of the first visualization. I'm going to do the rest of the 2 visualizations. If your project is more complex, you can also discover some other layouts or use some annotations. And whenever you're happy with your visualizations, export all of them with high resolutions, and then let's import them into Notion. So here, we can delete the content that we wrote up and then replace them with the images that we just made by Figma. You can also add some space in between by dragging an empty line in between these visualizations. And we're almost done with the upper part of our case study. Now let's go back to the top and let's adjust the style of these components. For example, problem can be turned into heading 1. And you can also call out certain part in your paragraph just by turning them into call out. You can also change the color into red for problem and then blue for solution. And plus, you can change the emoji to something that represents the problem. And once you've done the same for solution, it's also optional to adding a summary paragraph in the beginning, and I often call it at a glance. And here, I often add in a separation line between solution and process. To do that, just press dash dash dash, and then you will see a separation line. Now for the process. Let's first go back to our Figma file and review the file again to recall what we did for this project. If you feel like there's certain step you need to make over, you can totally redo it now. And based on the assets you have for each step, name a few sections. Here I have user research, sketches, wireframes and prototypes, and usability study. Because these are under process, you can either use a heading 2 or heading 3. Now drag the asset you have for each step under the headings. Here I have persona and user journey for research, sketches for sketches, and a wireframe screenshot for wireframes and prototypes, and I have a card sort for usability study. Now that you have all the visual assets here, please write a few sentences for each section. It doesn't have to be perfect because you can always use Notion AI to help you to fix grammar or just help you to make things more professional. But the key is to explain why you are doing these and what is the result of doing them. For example, you shall never create a persona out of thin air. Persona is always based on user research, and you shall explain it here. I'll also teach you a Notion trick to make things easy to find for recruiters. Select the first heading, then click the 3 dot, then click Copy Link to Blog. Then type in the heading name on the top, user research, and use dash and greater sign to create an arrow. Then just hit Command V. By doing this, you just created a clickable section for recruiters to jump to any of the section. So here I'm doing the same for the rest of the headings, and I will also add a call out. And now if I click sketches, I will jump to the sketches section.
Patience, 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 we are not done yet.
As you know, iteration is the most important part of design thinking or design process. So here I recommend you to put in the section that explains your major design iterations and how you made these design decisions. So I figured out 3 main iterations that I made for this design, and I'm calling them out here using a header. Then let's go to Figma and then create an illustration to illustrate the before versus after for each of this major design iteration. As a reference, we can use the same banner size as before, and then we can use an illustration that's similar to this. Once you export everything, just insert these images back here, and let's also add an explanation paragraph for each of this. And as a kind reminder, it's very normal if this is taking you hours. And let's add another section that illustrates our final success. I like to create another visualization with Figma to show a lot of screens. And also I like to put in a prototype link here. You can simply just paste in the Figma prototype link and Figma will embed it here for you. Finally, you can also add in some descriptive sentences about your product success and what you've learned. It's important to highlight your impact on the project. Now you are pretty much done with your case study. If you like, you can also add in a 1500 x 600 pixel banner on top and adjust these labels to better reflect what you did in the project. Here, I decided to show my role, the timeline of the project, some tags, my tools, and then the team that I worked with. Now, if you go to your portfolio website link, you will see a fully updated portfolio that reflects your case study and has a good homepage. Here we go.
Now that we have both homepage and case studies, are you finally done? Well, you can definitely start using these portfolios to apply to jobs or getting more opportunities or level up your career. However, I don't think you can ever be done with your portfolio website because your skill will evolve over time. So it's very normal if 3 days later you look back to your portfolio that you built today and you feel like, oh my God, what did I do? It's horrible. I feel that all the time, but it's okay. Please don't let perfect be in the way of good. My best suggestion is to send it to 3 of your friends and then ask feedback directly from them instead of just from yourself. Because you build this thing, you're already so biased, you don't have a fresh point of view anymore. And I will also appreciate if you share your portfolio website in the comment section below, and you can also check out other people's portfolio and then provide them some feedback. I hope this video was helpful, and if you enjoyed this video, you probably will also like this video that's coming up next. So I will see you in this video. I'm Aliena. I will see you in this video.